So inevitably, you see the relationship between our peoples and the criminal justice system. We see a relationship that is fraught with historical, social, and cultural roadblocks. How do you break them down? And I guess the point the National Chief would like to make today is it's our responsibility to break them down. And it's imperative, it's important that our people, the elders, Chinishnabek, Benunchiok, Shkaya, Sak, Kweok, Inyok, our people have to be involved in these discussions and the decisions that are going to impact our futures. And we also need to recognize that Anishinabek, Kanita, Anishinaabe, Ininu, Panak, all of those, we're distinct nations. And I said earlier that I am more comfortable using the word Anishinaabe because to me it means human being. It recognizes who I am. But it also, I use the term to describe all of the other nations that make up First Nations peoples in this country. But I do so out of respect. But I guess the point I'm trying to make that there are distinctions even within our maybe I should use the term even within the nations. There's distinct nations within our nation. Because there's the Anishinaabe, you have the Cree Nation, you have the Blackfoot Nation, you have the Six Nations. So that we're very distinct peoples even within our own. And I think it's important that Canada, both at the federal and provincial levels, see these very distinct differences. And there's also differences as well between the Saskatoon, Inuk, and Inuit in ourselves as Anishinaabe. There's differences, big differences. So this pan-Aboriginal approach that the federal government and the provincial governments are going down is simply not going to work. And we got to be mindful of that. And again, just to paraphrase the text, a pan-Aboriginal approach to Aboriginal people and policy will never work. First Nations, Métis, and Inuit speak with their own voice, and these distinct voices have to be heard. The AFN is taking a number of steps to foster a better understanding and a better approach to the administration of justice. Earlier this month, for example, the AFN officials met with Paul Sims, the new Deputy Minister of Justice, to draw his attention to inadequacies of the federal Aboriginal Justice Strategy, and to encourage the establishment of a joint process of policy development to facilitate capacity building in our nations, and to seek to address issues within the mainstream justice system. While the Aboriginal Justice Strategy has been geared to developing new programs, these have been largely at the pilot project level. There must, however, and in reality, be sustainability to any Aboriginal justice system program. And that is the only way, we will see the long-term positive effects and benefits derived from this. As well, there must be a comprehensive effort and a comprehensive approach. The federal government, the provincial governments, and First Nations must be able to work together to address not only the problems in the criminal justice system, but also the underlying economic, health, and social causes. And the AFN will be proposing that the Federal Provincial Council of Justice Ministers sees this issue as a means by which the justice system gets fixed. As recently as 2 days ago, the Justice Ministers Council issued a report about wrongful convictions as a problem of general concern among them. Well, the justice problems facing First Nations people, Anishinaabe, in the justice system should have similar importance and priority and resolve among them. And you can see as well by some of the steps that the AFN has taken as recently as a few months ago, wherein the AFN and the RCMP signed into force a public safety protocol that will create a partnership in cases of mutual concern. In fact, the protocol agreement was signed in this city. We can also look at to the efforts in this province to address and offer redress to Anishinaabe who have received shameful or unnecessary treatment at the hands of the law enforcement agencies and the judicial system. We can build on these initiatives and actions to overhaul the system, and there must be a commitment from federal and provincial governments to do so. Not only do our people want to be involved in these discussions, it's imperative and it's important that we be involved, and we should stress that at every point. It's also our experience that leads us to see that change is required and why it's required. And all that we ask and all that we say is, why not listen to us and use our experience to facilitate this process? Anishinaabe at the national and regional levels can work together with federal and provincial governments to make improvements to the criminal justice system that will keep our people from being lost in that system. And we can obviously make progress and move forward. We can also create a system that is not simply about enforcement, courts, lawyers, and judges. We can also create a system that is truly about justice. And with that, I say miigwech. And I have to say, again, I have to say miigwech with all of my heart for having the opportunity to be here today. And I give thanks. And I say with all my heart, and I like to share this story. When I was chief, very early on in one of the first or second terms, I always ended, from the bottom of my heart, miigwech. And this elder came up to me one time after a General Assembly, one of our band meetings. He said, "You know what, I'm getting tired of you saying from the bottom of your heart." I said, "I don't understand. I'm being honest." He says, "When you say that, you tell me your heart is empty." So he said, "What I want you to do from now on is say with all your heart." So I say with all my heart, I say miigwech. And I want to give thanks to the elder that spoke prior to my speaking. I took a great deal from what he said. And I think at the end of the day, this is where we want to be. Because our justice systems, or the way we did things, have sustained us since the beginning of time. And to take a system that's simply to take a system that's been imposed, that was created without our input, without any kind of significance to how we did things, simply is not going to work the best of times. And I have to be careful what I say, because I'm speaking on behalf of the national chief, and I don't want to put words in his mouth. So with that, I say again, miigwech.